Hey everybody, how's it going? It is Friday morning, August, what do we got, 29th? And so it's time for my Friday after Bill Burr's Thursday, but I'm not going to answer Burr because we're doing something different. Monday morning podcast. So I came out to the truck a little early this morning. Thought I'd get a head start on this. Come to find out, well, not come to find out, but I get out here and it's fucking cold. I mean, not ice cold, but it's what do we got? We got 46 degrees in August. For anybody who knows me knows that lived most of my life in Florida. When I did travel, it was already during the winter or the cold season anyway. But August was never really, I mean, it's the end of August, we're at this, what do I have to say, 29th? So I guess we're at the end, so, you could say September really, so, but I mean, technically, summer goes until, I'm gonna fog up these fucking windows, but, summer goes until, either September 1st, if you want to go all, by the calendar, by the fucking, make it nice and pretty and neat on your calendar and shit. But it actually goes until the equinox, however you want to fucking say it, on like the 22nd, 21st, 22nd, 23rd, somewhere in there. And that's when, that's when everywhere in the world roughly gets about the same daylight and nighttime. And then, of course, we'll start heading into our winter up in the north, and then the southern hemisphere and South America and Australia and everybody, all of them will go into their summer and blah, blah, blah. But no, being in Florida, it's like, temperatures down there right now are like 70s, 80s, at night, like right now. I'm sitting in here, I got the heat on, I'm trying to defrost my windows. The heat for me too, because like I said, I walked out, it was 46, and sun's not even up yet. It's just barely, you can see the sunlight, but the sun's not over the horizon yet. So yeah, it's kind of chilly out, but no, it's surprising because like I said, being in Florida, being a Florida man, being a Florida man my whole life, fucking having a day in August, I mean, even at the end of August, in the 40s, I mean, August is the hottest, like August, September, that's when we're getting ready for the worst hurricanes in Florida. So, yeah, on that note, that's pretty fucking cool, because I like the cold temperatures. I'm not bitching, I was a little cold getting in the car. Now I'm just trying to get the fucking windows defrosted. I mean, I don't have to leave for a good few minutes. Like I said, I came out early, seeing it, trying to get a head start, only to freeze myself out. Not freeze myself out, but I mean, shit, it might be a cold winter this year. If it's 40 something at night and we're in August, then what's it gonna be like, come December, January, and I know I said this on the last cast, but they repaved the road on the way to work and the way back, my podcast road. The one I make all my noise all my noise on. The one I'm always bitching, fucking. It's so bumpy that it's like when your car, when you hit the brakes, or when you're in the car and something happens and hit the brakes or you hit a bump and your seatbelt automatically locks up. Like it holds you in place, like I got you, buddy. That's pretty much what my seatbelt was doing. But it was doing that going down this fucking, down the road to work and back. And it was a pain in the ass because not so much, I'm not getting out of my seat, obviously, doing fucking 55. But it's just the fact of let me fucking move around a little bit. It was holding me like strapped to the seat, like I was fucking like straight jacketed into the car almost. It was kind of, it's getting to the point where it's like, all right, what's going on here? Like, what's the deal? But they repaved that road. They actually, I don't know the steps putting new blacktop on. I thought you just kind of, I know from flooring, I did flooring with, God rest his soul, a great guy. He had friends in cool places. He was friends with, I forget his name right this second, but the actor who plays Wednesday's dad in the Netflix series, that guy actually, at my flooring boss, everybody goes through their, in your 20s especially, you go through your fucking, I had this job and that job and that job and this job and that job and this job and fucking those jobs, and I worked for this person and that person, and, you're exploring what you're interested in life, I guess you could say. You're looking for which jobs fit you. I don't fucking know, I'm just making shit up, but either way, I did flooring for this guy, and, he was a good family friend and whatnot, and we talked, hung out, outside of work, etc. But, no, the crazy part is, so he passed away right after my mom did, which, it's never cool to have anybody pass away, but not even, even more so two people. My mom's very, very special, obviously, and then, he was a cool guy, but what I didn't catch on to, so he had he had his funeral, his family had a funeral and all, and, did a memorial for him and everything, and, what they did is they made a video tribute to this guy. I don't want to put his name out. I'm not even talking shit about him. I love the guy, but I don't want to put his name out just because then it might fucking get passed around. I don't know who listens and who doesn't. I assume most don't, but if you are listening and hopefully you got good intentions, but say you don't, I'd hate for his kids or any of his friends, etc., get involved in something stupid. But no, he knows he was, so in his video tribute, after his passing, there's, goes through a section where there's all these different people, like, maybe an ex-wife, his kids, his, maybe, I don't know if his parents were alive, his siblings, if he had, like, whoever, just going down the list of family, friends, and each person's saying their piece, like, hey, man, you were an awesome guy, I'm gonna miss you so much, all the stuff you'd say. But the guy, like I said, I forget the actor's name. He's hilarious. Ah, man, what is it? It's not, I can't think of it, but yeah, Wednesday with fucking Jenna Ortega, the dad, fucking Father Adams, I forget dad's name too now, but yeah, her dad in the show, the actor that plays that, if I'm right, because it's not the other guy that sounds a little more like New York accent and looks similar, but doesn't have the as chubby of a face. It might. No, it's not that guy. He's darker. He's not a ride along, but he's in some movies with like Ice Cube and shit. He's always the comedy guy, but no, this guy's like I said, I sucks that I can't remember his name, but anyways, he comes on the video. And I'm like, whoa, holy shit. And he's like, hey, man, you were a great guy. We had some good times when you were out here in L.A. and blah, blah, blah. And I just thought it was cool as hell. It's like, I never met the guy. I don't know him. But the fact that I was, I worked for and was friends with a good friend of, another famous actor, it just goes, like I said, down the list of people that I've met, trying to meet, for whatever reason, whether it's just to fucking say hi, just to shoot the shit, fucking, whether it leads to anything or not, doesn't matter. It's just a fact of, experience in life. That's what's important, right? The experiences in life. And on that, I guess that other window ain't gonna fucking defrost itself. That's fucking why. My defrost vents don't even point any other direction. Like, you can't move the defrost vents. They're built into the fucking plastic. What is that? What do you even call that anymore? Dashboard. Yeah. Used to be a fucking dashboard, but now it's just a plastic fucking sun reflector. So yeah, no, I got to see that guy in the video, but it was cool that he knew him. It's crazy he never talked about knowing him. You know, he never was like, hey man, you want to meet fucking, you know, so and so. Like I said, I forget his name exactly. It's stupid. It'll come to me. But it's like, you know, he never talked about it. You know, it was one of those things like say you're friends with someone famous. You know, like I was saying in my last cast, you're friends with someone famous. You know, you got their phone number. You know, back in the day, it was like, whatever. You know, I got fucking, you know, like yeah, I call Elvis or whatever. You know, whoever the fuck you call. But now, I mean, shit. Even the famous people, their phones are getting hacked and their pictures and their videos and shit are getting fucking shared and sent all over online. I don't know how many famous actresses, you know, well, even before the full AI shit started coming out, people were like photoshopping an actress's her face onto a body, because it was like, you know, you could, you know, say you turn your safe search off and you go onto your Google account and you type in like let's see who's really good looking, like Scarlett Johansson or something. You'll find pictures of her that it's like, that's not even close to what her body looks like, but somebody photoshopped her face on it to make it like, oh, I got a picture of her naked. You know, it was in 1998 at the whatever forum, and she was in the back changing and blah blah blah. And it's like, yeah, so you're telling me that, you know, she went from this body figure to this body figure, which, you know, not saying you can't, but, you know, a lot of people, like, you know, you're kind of built as you are. I'm not saying like if you're fat, you stay fat. Like you can gain weight, lose weight, you know, you can stuff like that. But what I mean is like your facial features are your facial, like besides, you know, the chubby, like I said, you know, if you have a chubby face versus like a skinny face, but like your nose is your nose, unless you do like Botox or something, which I think is crazy, but that's all the rich people anyway, right? I'm assuming people of my income class either can't afford or don't do it. You probably can't afford it, because I see commercials on TV for it. It's like, once monthly fucking injection, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, you know, of course, anybody who's read about it, it's fucking Botox. Like, even ignore the botulism, which sounds bad enough. Like, I'm giving myself botulism. No, ignore that. The second word, toxin. Like, you're injecting something fucking toxic into your body, and then it's paralyzing your muscles. So it's like, oh wow, it made me younger. It filled out my my forehead wrinkles, or my facial wrinkles, or my fucking, you know, my balls. But whatever, you know, whatever you use it on. But just the fact is, it's a fucking toxin made by a bacteria that paralyzes the muscles that it come in contact with. So it's like, you're not actually, you know, like, it's like a cosmetic, I don't know even how to explain it. It's like, how do you even fucking compare that? Okay, so you got a car you got a rusty spot on your car, and you're coming up to winter with all the road salt and shit. That's like, it's like putting Scotch tape over the rusty spot, you know, while the car's dry, so the tape sticks for that moment. That's kind of how it feels. It's like, you know, if anything, or let's just say for the argument, it's duct tape, Scotch tape, whatever tape, but it stays for winter. The argument is you're not protecting that rusty spot. You're covering it. Like, it's still gonna get more rusty. Yeah, I mean, you might block a little bit of salt, but at the end of the day, you know, the air, everything's gonna get in there. It's gonna rust more. You know, to actually fix it, you gotta get the rust off the outside, you know. I'd say like sand it down, blah blah blah, repaint it, get them protective layers on. So I don't know how you do that with your with your skin, but it sure as hell ain't injecting a fucking bacterial toxin into it. Like I said, thank God. Well, not thank God. I'd love to have a little more money to fucking have a nice vehicle of my own, and because this is just a work truck. It's a great truck. Don't get me wrong. It runs great. It does its job. It's the work truck. But no, I want something with I'm not against Bill as far as like I want all the features. I want the automatic brakes and I want that. No, I don't want any of that shit, because that automatic brake system one day is gonna fail and we're gonna be on the highway doing like 80. And that brake system, we're going to be going down the highway and that sensor is going to be dirty or something, like your O2 sensor or whatever other sensors you got. It's going to be fucking dirty. And it's going to be, like I said, we're going to be driving down the highway at like 80 miles an hour when the sensor's going to just think like a fucking tree or a person's in the way, and it's going to slam on the brakes. And nobody in the car is going to know. Nobody's going to have a fucking clue when or why. It's just going to happen. And I'm not even saying I know that for sure, but from the electronics in cars that I've had that have gone bad, I can say that's why I won't be using, or I'll be turning that feature off if there's an option for it. Dude, I'm actually speaking of all that, I've always been worried about the sensor for the airbags. Like, I know that. I think the truck I'm in doesn't have those recalled airbags, but I know that for one, there was a recall on like a couple million cars, over like 20 years, because the airbags, if they came out, they were like some brand that something broke and it got brittle, and so if it came out, it was like a Iron Man movie where it sent a bunch of shrapnel through your chest and something. But not even that. It's more the fact of just, airbags are designed to come out and save your life in like a half a second or a tenth of a second or something. So, imagine that. Imagine you're just driving down the road, fucking, like I said, like me going to work, just cruising, sun's coming up. It's fucking, calm, easy going morning, Friday morning, taking it easy, fucking, I just stopped and got my soda. Haven't even really got to my, like, fully awake, paying attention to shit, not like that, I'm awake, paying it, but you know what I mean? As far as, like, when you get to work, you don't get to work and it's like, most people, you don't start off, you clock in, and then the first part you get to work on, you're already working, like, full pace, fucking production pace. No, you get there and you set your drink down, you fucking... you hook up your headphones, you get your station situated, you get your radio station put on or whatever, or, whatever your allowances, I guess you could say. But, you gotta be a special kind of person. Actually, I'll talk, speaking of work, I'll say you gotta be a special kind of person to come into work at 90 miles an hour. But, speaking of work, since I said that actually reminds me, I said Fridays I was going to do my own stories and shit. So my boss took off part of last week and all this week. And then we got Monday. It's Labor Day. Look at that. Look at that. Monday is to celebrate all the days I've worked this year. That means Tuesday will be... No, Wednesday, that means will be... my 1 year anniversary of being here. 1 year of being in Michigan. Wow. We're already almost back to winter, that means, because it was getting cold quick when I got here. It was like, we had a couple weeks and then it started getting cold and it was like, do you have a jacket? Do you have this? But no, anyways, back to work. So, alright, to put a fucking paint a picture real quick. Alright, my building is separate from the other building. I mentioned that a couple times in other previous podcasts. But long story short is, my building, we do our own work. We have our own company that we provide for. It's the same company we work for, but division. Our division is like a branched off in its own building. So our boss, runs it. He knows everything, like where everything is, what's due when, what needs to be done, when it needs to be done, blah blah blah. And so we took this week, part of last week off, and then between the weekend and then this coming weekend having 3 days. He's got 5 days of the weekends, and so he has like 12 days off, so almost 2 weeks. Basically 2-week vacation. But so they send someone from the front to the back to be the stand-in boss, I guess you could say. First part, hilarious. Day one, not the stand-in, but the big boss, like the big guy that everybody, even our boss, answers, like everybody answers to him, kind of guy. First day he comes back, and he's asking. He caught me. He caught me off guard good. Well, we got a lot of people, but they all saw him get me, so they were fucking ready because they knew what was coming. But he walks right up to me and grabs a part. And so when I was trained, right, this is something that there's a tool for it, and I guess you're supposed to be doing like a sample size check out of every batch that you get, just to make sure that they're being consistent. But when I either because when I learned it, it was such an easy station to learn, that it was just like, you do this, you put this in here, and then and then you test it. And it was like, you got that? And I was like, yeah, you don't even gotta, I'm good, I'm ready to go. So I'm not, my boss might have said, hey, this tool is for this, but we don't really have any issues. Or he might not have, I don't know. But either way, I don't remember the fucking tool at all. And the spot that I was supposed to check, I don't ever remember that being an issue. I think that's why I didn't say anything, or not didn't say anything, but I think that's why I didn't think about it or remember it. If I was taught it, it was never an issue. But the big boss, anyways, comes up to me and he's like, hey, how often are you testing these? And he just grabs the part. He doesn't point at the spot. He doesn't grab the tool. There's no context. He just straight up fucking, first thing in the morning, like it's 1 minute after I clock in. Like, start time, and then 1 minute after start time. Literally, I had just put my drink and my shit down and got everything hooked up. It was like he was waiting. As soon as I started grabbing parts to start working, it was like he ran over and he got me. And he's like, how often do you check these? And he's just holding the parts. So I'm just like, my fucking early morning head's like, okay, well, where am I going to go with this? So I'm just like, well, check it for what? I'm like, just for like defects, like it's, made incorrectly, or it's, like it came out of the mold wrong or something, I was like, I mean, you can look at them all really as you're working with them. And then he goes, no, this spot. And I mean, like I said, it was early morning me, so I didn't know what to say. So I'm just like, didn't know that was an issue. And he's like, yeah. And then he grabs the tool and he goes to explain, blah, blah, blah. So, I already in my head apologize to my boss when he gets back if he hears about that. Because, like I said, he may have said something, but it's so insignificant. We don't have any issues that it's like, I mean, I've worked there for the entire, almost a year now. And, not once have I, was I told like, hey, this spot is becoming a problem spot on this part. So keep an eye out, Some other parts, we've had our ups and downs. Like, right now we got some bad batches, and right now we got a good batch, and right now a bad batch, and blah, blah, blah. But this particular piece, no. But then he goes around to every other employee, and he's like, so how do you do this? How do you do that? What's this for? What's that for? It's like he was digging to try and find what the boss, like, didn't do right, or doesn't do right, or I don't know. But it was weird. But on top of being weird, it was like, just like, I mean, dude, you fucking, it's like ambush, man, But on top of that, so speaking of, like I said, there's people that come into work at 80 miles an hour, 90 miles an hour. Got this one guy, good guy, never said anything. There's the sun. It's finally coming up over the grass. Look at that, everybody. But a guy at work, talk about fucking attention problems, huh? A guy at work, fucking great guy. Like I said, he's never said anything wrong, done anything wrong. He's actually, proven himself to be, probably a better person than most. But I don't know if it's like home life. I don't know if it's stress. I don't know if it's stress. I don't know if it's work or home. I don't know what it is, but something. Man, let me tell you, something is fucking this person's life up. Like, they're just, yesterday, like I said, we have a stand-in boss. So, stand-in boss, he's used to working up front. He probably had a meeting or something to do up front. And, so anyways, it gets to be about 4 minutes before we would be late. But we're all in the parking lot, we're all sitting there in our cars just waiting. And I already know it's, say he's late, I'm just going to write on my time card that I was there on time. They're going to sign off on it because I was fucking there on time. And that's it, it's happened before, but this guy, he's also from the other building, so, but he's, I think he might be a permanent mainstay now in the back. I'm not sure. But either way, like I said, great guy, nothing bad about him, but he stresses me, at least me, he stresses me the hell out, because it's like, so like I said, we're 4 minutes from being late, but we're all there. Well, he goes to open the door and it's locked, because, like I said, the boss hadn't come back yet, and he's like, he starts freaking out, he's like, man, if I'm fucking late, blah, 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 now they're messing with my money, and rada, and it's like, I get it if it was like a half hour, an hour, a couple hours, and they said, no, we're not paying because you didn't have to work, then yeah, it's like you're messing with my money, and like I said, we're not making big bucks or nothing, so, I get it, but you're 3 minutes before you have to clock in still. Like, I know it's only 3 minutes, and he's got his drink and his fucking lunchbox and shit, like, he's very, very prepared, so he's got to put all his shit away, like, I get it, and I get you don't want to be a minute late or nothing, but, so what does he do? Like, gets in his car and he fucking, like, hauls ass out of this, like, 5 mile an hour parking lot. Hauls ass out of the parking lot. I don't know if he just went to the front building or if he went to the store. But, anyways, about 30 seconds later, which I knew was going to happen, the fucking boss, for the week comes back and opens the door and, starts turning everything on. And as we're walking inside, here you just hear this car just, fucking, here he comes, flying back up, fucking rushes inside and shit. And then the boss goes up front, and it's like, he's like, yeah, I got a meeting, I'll be back in an hour or whatever. And he's like, yeah, he's a good fucking guy and he's my friend, but goddamn, man, it's my fucking money and it's fucking, and I'm just like, holy shit, dude, like, it's fucking too early to be this angry or even this hyped up. And he drinks coffee all day long, all shift long, like, until we get off, 4 or 5 o'clock, until we're off work, coffee. Which I get it in the morning, because I get my, my soda, my caffeine. I get a drink, but, holy shit. Coffee all day on top of how hyper, like how high strung. Like, he'll be sitting next to you, and you just look at him, and it's like, he'll just be like, yeah, man, the home life, home life. And he's just like, he looks like the guy that's like about, like, doesn't know which wire to cut to, like, to fucking, to defuse the bomb. Like, he doesn't know which wire to cut. And it's like he's strapped to his whole family, so it's like the stress, it's not just him in the building, it's like him and his family and everybody that he cares and loves are all fucking like, zip tied together or something. I don't know, but that's the best way to explain it for me is if you were tasked with, cutting the red wire, but you're colorblind and they're all gray, that's the way that his demeanor, I guess you could say. I don't know if demeanor is the right way, because I don't know how to explain it, but he's just always ready for that fuse to pop. Like, it's like one of those people, it's like, you know, you'd see on the news, like, you know, oh, you know, terrible story in whatever town as, you know, this person went, you know, finally went off the fucking rails and did whatever. And it's like, you know, I hate to say it, but I'm kind of worried that seems like that kind of person. Like, you know, oh, that person was so nice. How could they ever have done it? It's like, you didn't see them in their daily life just fucking grinding their teeth away, like, to the point where it was just gums. Like, I mean, you didn't see them, like, fucking, you know, doing the double bass, sitting on the toilet, or not sitting on the, you wouldn't see him hopefully sitting on the toilet, because then you'd be fucking weird. But no, it's like sitting at work even, you know, like sitting there in a chair, he's doing like the double bass on like both feet, you know, just fucking going. Like, you never saw any of that, wondered where the fuck that was coming from. No, I mean, yeah, you know, obviously, hopefully nothing ever happens, you know, hopefully he's just a high energy guy, but it's too much for me, man. It's fucking, you know, I'm more of a, you know, fucking laid back, you know, fucking smoke, have a drink, fucking laugh, you know, have a good time. No, not at work, smoke, have a drink, but you know what I mean? Like, even at work, it's, you know, do my job, do it right, get it done, you know, on time, all that, but I'm not flying in there at fucking, you know, 7:30, 8 o'clock, fucking screaming, doing 100 miles an hour through the parking lot. But moving on to the interim boss guy, I feel bad. Well, for one, I feel bad for my boss when he gets back next week, Tuesday, when we get back to work. When he left, we were 3 weeks ahead. As of right now, we are 3 days ahead. And today's going to put us back down to 2 days ahead. And I'm interested for my boss to come back and see the fill-in boss. He's a cool guy. He's already said that he's going to be pissed when he gets back. And the fill-in boss, you know, for what it's worth, he knows what he's doing, but I don't know if he really wants to or likes it. I don't know. He's definitely filling in. He's doing the fill-in part for sure. He's doing a good job at that. But what would have been done like 2-3 days ago is still not. It won't be done until at least Tuesday. At least. And like, I mean, we're not going to be behind, but it's just, I'm just going to be interested to see, you know, you're gone, you're the guy who runs this building, you're gone for 2 weeks, and the rest of the companies, you know, had time to come in and kind of peek around and have their say and have their, you know, what they feel, so to speak. We'll see what happens. But let's see, what else do we got, man? Anything else funny? Any good shit I got to tell you guys? Oh, I don't even know how I did it. Don't even fucking know how I did it. Well, okay, first things first. I was coming into my house, and I was walking inside, and there's a I don't know what you want to call it, a fucking cupboard, cabinet, shelf thing out front of the door. But it's like a little, it's, you know, on top you got you got a little shelf, you know, to leave shit outside, like an ashtray for smokers and like cigarette smokers at least. You know, you got like any kind of small plants or something you put up there, you know, next to the window, stuff like that. But then also you got the drawers, well, cupboards, I guess you could say, because they're not drawers, they don't slide out, they open, but you got those, so you can leave shit out there, like all your bug sprays, your fucking, you know, your lawn care stuff, any of that stuff, instead of having it in, you know, in the basement or any, you could leave it right there, you know, on the front porch. So it's raised, you know, because it is a cabinet kind of deal. It's raised, like the bottom of it, you know, it's meant to be hung, I guess, or whatever the case, but it's raised like a foot. And I was going inside, and I don't know if I slipped or what happened, but I ended up kicking the corner really fucking hard. And something in my foot, I think, broke, because it still hurts, and it was swollen for a couple days, and I had a nice little, like, triangle chunk mark where I'd, like, And I had shoes on, so it was a good one. But then, so I don't know if that's related or not, but then, and this might just be getting older, you know, because they say in your 30s you start feeling stuff, and stuff starts happening that, you know, you doesn't usually happen. So this might just be an age thing. But I'm only 33, so shit. And but I'm a hockey fan, you know, I've said that plenty. Moved to, you know, closest city is Detroit, however you say it, I don't care. But that's the closest city. It's hockey town, you know. It's one of the original 6, you know, big hockey area. Plus it snows. They got ice in the winter. Lakes freeze. So you can actually fucking skate. And this isn't even winter. It's not even beer league. This is just at work, being stupid, having fun. And I was playing a fucking goalie. I don't even know if this is how it happened. But I was playing goalie because, you know, I got pretty good reflexes. I've played goalie on, like, video games, which I know don't even say, you know, I'm not even going to say it's the same thing, man, because, you know, it's not the same thing as fucking getting hit in the face with a puck, you know, as your goalie on the game getting hit, and they're like, wow, he stopped it with his helmet, and you're just like, all right, well, let's keep playing. Like, no, I think you're going to be a little more dazed in real life. But, so, you know, I played a little, like, not even hockey. Like I said, I don't even know what we were doing. We were just goofing off. But my friend did this, it was just like a little trash, like a paper ball or something. But he fucking, like, slap shotted it towards me. And I fucking 5-hole. I don't know if you don't know hockey, that's when the goalie closes their legs real quick and, you know, stops the puck from going between their legs or under their legs. Well, that's the way it went. And I did that, and I actually caught the fucking thing. And I looked up at him, and he looked at me, and it was like, you know, so it's like kids with the water bottle flip. You know, it's like oh shit, we fucking landed. You know, I was like, holy fucking shit, I caught it, dude. I fucking 5-holed you. I was like, I fucking got you. And now here we are, like, less than a week later, and I have all the inside of my hip is all torn, and it hurts to walk, and I'm walking all crooked and shit. And I look it up, and it says torn hip adductor, or AKA groin, which I always wondered, you know, I've always heard of groin tears in athletes. But, you know, when I think of groin, not even to be funny, but I think of your crotch. Like your crotch. Like the fucking, like the goods, the family jewels or the family hotel. You know, however you want to name it. But that's what I think of when I think of groin. So, yeah, when I was Googling it, when I was reading about it, because I'm like, how the fuck do you even tear that muscle? Like, I wasn't doing splits. Like, I didn't drop to a split and, like, rip the muscle. Like, I'm like, the only thing I did fast enough was, like I said, I did the 5-hole close. I closed my legs really quick. But that's closing them, you know. I mean, you close them when you lay down in bed, you know, your legs are closed. You know, when you're sitting, usually, I mean, even unless you're, you know, a guy with your junk stuck to a leg, you know, your legs are not closed, but, you know, nobody just sits there with their legs wide open unless you're like some super fucking hardcore, you know, macho man lesbian, or either that or you're just like a fucking tool, you know, like I said, or your junk stuck to your leg. But on average, people just sit, you know, normal. So it's like, I don't know, but I never thought closing my legs that fast, you know, in a fast motion would be like damaging, but sure enough, I mean, that's the only thing I could think of that caused it. So yeah, so I'm walking around like a fucking cripple right now. I don't know how long it's gonna take to heal. Yeah, so I got my foot is fucked up. It's hard to get in my shoe and it hurts. And then my hip, like I said, not my hip, my thigh, my inner thigh muscle, I don't know, whatever, I guess, like I said, groin is torn as well. So yeah, I'm all crippled at 33 right now. Meanwhile, fucking old Billy, you know, I know I said it, I was going to save him for Tuesdays, and I'll save most of it. But, you know, meanwhile, he's fucking almost 60, and he's in the gym every day. And I close my legs to catch a paper ball, and I fucking blow out a muscle. So I guess that tells you how fucking fit I am, huh? No, actually, all that means is I should have stretched before I got in the game, man. I should have done my stretches. Oh, shit. Well, fuck it. On that note, usually I pause you guys and go get my breakfast, my drink, at least. Ooh, look at that, a splash of water. That was stupid, I know. It was on the hood, so it looked funny. But, no, usually, yeah, I'll pause you for my breakfast time and shit, but, yeah, I started early, so I'll end early. Fuck it. I don't got any other stories. I told you about work. The crazy the guy that's, 0 to 100. Told you about the fill-in boss. Feel bad for him because, like I said, he knows what he's doing, but he's just not quick and doesn't know, like, the locations of everything. And so, the other the main boss, he's got work cut out for him when comes back. But, hey, that's what you get for being a boss, right? But, yeah, so I told you all about that. I told you about my fucking muscles getting torn because I'm an old young man. About to hop in the drive-thru. So, yeah, have a good weekend, everybody. Hopefully you had a good week. Stay safe, sexy, healthy, happy, all the things I always say. I'm going to get some breakfast, and hopefully it doesn't go through me the wrong way. Now I feel like I should be rhyming like fucking Dr. Seuss at the end of this fucking cast. No, that's it. Go fuck yourselves. Have a good weekend. We'll talk on Tuesday about what Bill said yesterday and about what he says Monday. Other than that, I'm fucking out. Let's get this work day over with, and let's get out and have some fun this weekend. See what happens.